Right. Click on some things. Hi, I'm BoredGamer. Oh, my turtleneck. This is a cheaper turtleneck than I normally wear. But keeps on ruffling up. Like a little ruffle boy. No good. Need to look presentable and beautiful. Look at a little potato or an egg on a platter. That's what we want. Hello! I hope you are all doing well. Or at least mostly well. It is the end of February. It's February 28th, 2023. Tomorrow is the start of March. That's how the end and start of things begin. So Zin is currently trying to finish off a news video for today. And then she'll be working on the new outro. Tomorrow we'll be getting a sort of channel update for March out. That's the plan. We've been busy doing things actually, so it's likely over the next few weeks there'll be lots of interesting videos with Zin and I playing the Sons of the Forest. We've just completed Sons of the Forest, such as it is, in early access. Really great game. Really, even though it's early access and it's not fully complete properly, it does have an ending, but the threads of the plot don't sort of converge properly. So there's lots of sort of like, what? So why is this happening? What's going on here? Why do we get this cutscene? Who's this guy? So there's a lot of that going on because they haven't sort of connected all the plot yet. But when compared to the Forest's development of when it went into early access, well, the Forest didn't have its story mode or anything like that. It was just like a survival horror. This has got Sons of the Forest, very polished survival horror, especially for early access. Pretty good fun. Stuff sort of mostly works. There's a few little bugs, but nothing sort of breaking. And it was great fun walking around, and the story and objectives are there for you to find, and a very open world sort of style of doing it. Not a huge amount of gameplay. It's a good amount. It's a good laugh, especially from its as I said, it's in early access. So really enjoyed that. I've got a 3D printer as well now. I've got a Lego Saturn 2, and I'm starting to 3D print stuff. I literally got it up and running a couple of days ago, and I've had a failed print when trying to print the base for this bad boy. This is Yoshimitsu that I printed. He's pretty cool. He's a pretty cool looking boy. He's very highly detailed. I've got it sort of. It's an 8K printer, but obviously I haven't sort of stepped it up so it's printing in that higher quality, but it's printing in relatively high quality. He looks great. And he's got swords and stuff and other bits and bobs, so I'm going to paint him up. He is going to be a present for Zin's partner, her boyfriend, DC. He helps me out loads. He's one of my best friends. He saw that model from a cheap website, SDL website, and I went, you know what? I'm going to buy it for him from the original guy, which is like, I think it was like, what, 20 quid or something to buy the SDL, and paint it up for him. Because really, you want to support. So this is the thing with 3D prints. You can get a really great print from someone pretty cheap elsewhere because someone sort of like farmed them. I don't think they actually have the rights to them, and they just sell them on. So you can get them like for like a 20 quid print. 20 quid file, you could actually get it for like, I don't know, a couple of quid, but you're not supporting the original artist then. So it is worth, if you want something really cool, and you want to support the artists that make that, then trying to find out who actually made it and then buying the file off them, if you can. I'm not your dad. You do you. Robert Johnston! Oh, you're a beautiful boy. He's a beautiful boy. He's giving me so much money. Hi, Bored, long time no see. Now, fuck off. He gives me money and then tells me to go fuck myself. I hope you are doing well, sir. It is a long time no see. Hope you are surviving. Sorry, I have not been streaming too much so far this year. So the sort of thing that we're doing in January, February time is typically Zin and I will be taking more of a rest. I'll be encouraging holidays. We'll be doing a lot more chilled content. We'll still be covering the Star Citizen news and stuff, but really, I want to be covering. I want to be doing a video and a half to 2 videos a day. I want to be getting an average of 1.5 videos out a day throughout the week. So that will be a mixture of news content, gameplay. We will actually start playing a lot more, guides, lots and lots and lots of stuff. Star Citizen is vast in its things that you can do, and yeah, so we want to get more involved with all of that sort of jazz. I just want to say, Rob Johnson, you're a beautiful, beautiful boy. Thank you so much for that huge donation. That's genuinely appreciated. No, Scott Mahoney, I've only printed little models. I've printed some fish people. All the to these boys. I'd originally bought a load of these models, which I had originally bought these big models from the same person that made these, or at least someone that's authorized to sell the 3D prints of these. And so I had bought this not pre-made, but pre-3D printed and assembled it and then painted it, and got actually printing out the small versions, the deep one versions of that, because that's Dagon, the big one, and then these are just deep ones. So these are going to be for a couple of board games, because really what I want to do is deluxify board games, potentially as a business. But I love board games, and I want to deluxify the ones I love the most. So Unfathomable and a load of Cthulhu games, these are going to be great for. So I'm putting a load of these out, at different scale, at different sizes. So, so this is the sort of original scale, but really I want it a bit smaller, about 15% smaller. Yeah, and what I'm going to do is go through my board game collection and go, which of these are actually genuinely popular games? Which of these can I make some great deluxe, sort of deluxified components for, and what can I actually get the licenses for to do that? Because to actually do that as a business, I'd need to go, cool, well, I want to print a load of parts for Ark Nova, which is like a zoo game. I could go, cool, let's find some people that have made some animal models, bam, put them all together as a little package, and then sell them online. Work out how to fabricate them. Do I 3D print them myself? Do I get them outsourced to a company that does 3D printing? But I prototype all the parts myself. Robert Johnston, thank you so much for the 56 months of subbing. Oh my god, that's a long time. Right, yes, Summer is right. I'm off to bed now. Keep the noise down, please. Good night. Hope that you have a great time, mate. Thank you so much, genuinely. Keep the noise down. Keep the noise down. And Sharkus, thank you very much for the resub. Genuinely appreciated. Oh yeah, Robert Johnson, it's great to see you, mate. Not just because you give me a load of money, but it's nice to see people turn up. Sharkbite, I need to do some things for you. I keep on forgetting, or I get sidetracked. I will give you a poke today or tomorrow, and we'll sort some stuff out. Yes, so 3.19 is effectively 3.18's code. It's not its own branch in the same way that 3.18 is its own branch. So 3.19 built on 3.18 code didn't really branch off. That it's just 3.19 in name only. So bear that in mind. That should mean that we have a more stable code base with 3.19 coming in. So 3.18 is going to be a little less stable than 3.17.5 most likely. If anyone's got any questions they'd like to ask during the live stream, just put question in brackets, and then ask your question. Obviously, not just question in brackets. That would be mad. Yeah, I'm pretty tired, just because I've been messing around with 3D printers and working out why some prints were failing. So the only thing that was failing with this model was its base. I'm showing you his undergarments, but his base for his feetsies, because it's a big round circle, it was like suctioning off the pad. Oh, I actually, with the same print on the same print time, I failed with a pyramid head that I was trying to print. But I'll sort that out. I'll get used to my 3D printer. I do want to print out a load of my 40k army from that as well, because I want to do a Death Corps of Krieg. I think it was Grimguard. With the models I saw, Grimguard army. Oh, looks so good. Did Robert Johnson gift the membership as well, separately? He gifted something. I know. I love you, boy. You good. Thank you. Legend. If RMC needs hull salvaging, will toilet mechanics demand Brussels sprouts? Wow. I think. So, genuinely, with the use of toilets and showers and stuff on ships, I suspect there will be a rough hygiene sort of level that you can go and use your facilities every so often to lower your dirtiness, which will just be commented on by NPCs if you're above a certain sort of dirtiness. Will you put up video up of your 3D printing journey? We can do. So I've taken some pictures. I could do some videos and chatting about it. I'm moderately well researched in sort of getting my 3D printer working and getting the most out of it. Again, my mate DC, Sin's partner, my editor's partner, he's really well sort of versed in it, and helped me out a load with. In fact, most of the stuff I need to get done, even if it's sort of streaming stuff, he knows more than I do, even though he doesn't really stream in the same way I do. He sort of has his own private streaming service that he made. Not a weird kinky one. For just uses it for his own personal use, for sort of like gaming and stuff. It's not even kinky at all. Do you think 3.18 will come out this week? So by the middle of March is what we sort of guesstimated a week or so ago. Zin's been pretty accurate with that sort of stuff for a while, and she thought it was going to come out in March, so she's going to be monstrously happy with her more reserved opinions. You have a ton of miniatures you need to paint. So, Summer Yeti, I can very much recommend speed paints or contrast paints, or even whatever the Vallejo range of speed paints is. They're just amazing. The speed paints, so just to get stuff painted and up to a reasonably good quality very quickly. Contrast paints, speed paints are just great. Obviously, some people are going to be great with the airbrush. I'm not an airbrusher. I'm old school, so contrast paints really help me with that. I then go off and do a little bit more, sort of paint-wise. I sort of highlight them a bit better after that. But it's nice to get them to a nice state, and then you can do your details and the highlights whenever you want. Yeah, but Boreal Stalker. When there is a Boreal Stalker, I will probably print a model of it and give it a good painting. Yeah, I'm absolutely loving Sons of the Forest things. Genuinely great game. However, is early access. The story didn't have all the threads sort of connected properly. There's still a way to go to get that game into a great state. It lacks boss fights that I want. There's a lot of cool stuff going on. Both Zin and I are pretty much over our cold. I think Zin's slightly more on the tail end than I am. I'm pretty much on the mend now. Do you think that hangar-side tractor beams will be able to grab rows of cargo all at once and transport it all onto a ship? I think there's going to be, eventually there'll be different facilities at stations, and they will have different sort of size tractor rigs, and that will affect the times and costs to load and unload. I do think it's going to be varied. I do think that very soon, certainly this year, potentially even in 3.19, we'll have ship scale tractor beams. It might be, if they're trying to get 3.19 out for May, then I think that we maybe will be seeing it just later in 3.19 cycle. Is there a reason the devs are releasing news and won't stop mentioning the fact that 3.8 is on the PTU instead of the actual progress? It's because there's not much more to mention beyond they're making progress in 3.18 and it's near. Like they just keep on mentioning it. We got it. I got it in the news again today. That's what they talk about in the This Week in Star Citizen. I mentioned that. You are right though. They do keep on saying it. Do you think we talked about that a second ago? Do you think 3.18 will push players to join the same shard every time and therefore limit the ability to meet players in chat they haven't met before? So I don't think shard affinity is in 3.18 at the moment. And that's something that's coming later. So sort of bear that in mind. I do think it's going to be a bit more quantum leapy about what shard you go to. I do see what you mean though. If you keep on getting put into the same small group of players, you don't meet as many people. I see what you mean. I don't think that's the case yet, but when it is, when we do have shard affinity, well, yeah, your world will be effectively smaller, right? What's your take on modularization? I'm concerned that you don't know what you're confronted with, e.g., Retaliator becomes a transporter or can be a bomber. Yes. So, without scanning a ship further, it is hard to tell what it is on the outside. Is a Avenger... Is it a Warlock, or is it an Avenger? Is it a Titan? I'll try. Is it an Avenger Titan, or is it an Avenger Warlock? My brain melted then. I couldn't remember the name of the Titan. But I do think that's part of it. You can obviously paint your ship however you want. Some of the exteriors are going to be very similar to another one, but if you select it and scan it, you'll know. It's a Retaliator. Is it, does it have the torpedo bays? How many torpedo bays does it have? All that sort of jazz. What, in your opinion, is the best ship line, and what ship in that line are you most excited for? So, my favourite ship that I still love the most is the Mercury Star Runner. So sort of bear that in mind. Put that to an aside, though. If you talk about a line of ships, I'm quite excited for the Spirit series, just because they might compete with the Cutlass. I do love the Cutlasses. Spirits and Cutlasses is sort of thing for me. See how the sort of Hornets evolve. Because I used to love the Hornets loads. And then I sort of moved on to the Sabre for my sort of a workhorse medium fighter. Do you think 3.19 will have a full wipe similar to 3.18? I do not think 3.19 will have a wipe. It might have a minor wipe on certain aspects, but I doubt it. I think that we'll probably see everything carry over into 3.19. It is effectively 3.18's codebase. Will one SU boxes eventually get rebalanced to have different weights? So, yes, so mass and weight, mass is something that they want to do, and that will be sort of calculated eventually. That's going to be sort of part of a later update, I believe. Not directly related to 3.19, but do you think that the design of the Titan doesn't fit with the Aegis design style, and should it be moved to a different manufacturer that fits it better? Well, the Avenger Titan, it fits the... To me, it fits a more budget design. I mean, you're saying that just the Avengers in general should be moved across? I think it's fine. Me personally, anyway. I mean, maybe I'm wrong. Oh yeah, I'm super excited about the Spirits. Will there be the ability to board a capital ship while it's still flying? Yes. There are ships that will allow you to do that. It might be quite hard to board, but there are ships that are there to effectively dock with docking ports aggressively. But it's just going to be a bit harder to do. What do you think is more important at this stage? Persistent hangars or player housing? Persistent hangars. Persistent hangars are easy to get in at the first stage because you can just go the elevator takes you to this hangar, which is your persistent hangar. You can have some physicalization of stuff there, and then you just need a UI, really, for what's in your hangar. Right? Nice and easy. How do you envision the mechanics for data running working in the MicroStarnet eventually? So, data is cargo. So there's two ways you could, the basics, there's two ways of doing it. You have a mission to take this data from here to here. You can only take it if you've got enough space in your sort of your data hold, and then you get to the location, bam, you get rewarded for it. That simple. And then data is cargo, literally going, you have a UI that says, like a grid, this is where the data is, it's in these hard drives. And you can discard data that you don't want, or keep it, or some data might be volatile and only valuable for a certain period of time. Some you can have science data, you can have lots of different things like that. Pretty simple. Eventually you can have sort of data interception and hacking and copying and moving data with sort of USB keys between places. What's up with the new star map? It seems it's been a deliverable for some time. What's been a deliverable? The new updated star map. So that's getting refined in Squadron 42 first before coming to the persistent universe. It's obviously a major thing that we need in game. I'm hoping that it integrates the Galactopedia at the time, though that might just be a Moby-Glass thing. We'll have to wait and see. It might be a separate Moby-Glass app for the Galactopedia, but I'm hoping that's integrated into the star map. Do you think it will see a 3.20 before 4.0? No, I think we'll just see lots of 3.19.x patches. That's my expectation, but I'm not sure. Do you think the Kraken will have to be enlarged before releasing? Supposedly the large landing pads are for size 3 ships. The new Spirits are supposed to be size 3 and seem a bit large. There could be tweaks and edits there. As far as I was aware, the Kraken didn't need to be made any larger beyond what it already has. So, but that might change. I might be wrong. We'll have to see what Clan Imperium say when they get to it. I mean, some ships are going to need tweaks, and the landing pads need to be made a bit bigger on the exterior. I suspect that's relatively easy for them to do. Persistent entity stream has caused delays and blockers to 3.18. How do you think Clan Imperium will fare implementing new features in the future patches, and will pairs continue to be an issue when adding things to the game? So a lot of the stuff with pairs has been, a lot of it's been ironed out. There's still a lot more to go, and the stuff that they need to get sorted. Persistent entity stream is built into all the developers' tools now with it in mind. So hopefully it shouldn't cause any additional knock-on problems. I mean, they are obviously building towards server meshing, so hopefully that gets more and more stable. But there could be problems. In your opinion, are we headed back towards 3.0-ish, where we had our persistent hangars? Yes. I think that I think that we're going to see sort of fuzzy persistent hangars where the elevator takes you to a hangar which might move around, and you'll leave that hangar, and it will take you sort of into a main sort of exit corridor, and your hangar might move around a little bit. That'd be my expectation anyway. They could also just artificially slow you down from when you exit your hangar by saying, waiting in queue. What will the future different gameplay mechanics between exploration and pathfinding ships? Could you maybe explain the difference between them? So, exploration and pathfinding is not fully defined yet in Star Citizen. We're obviously waiting for those mechanics to be fleshed out. Clan Imperium are still working out how that stuff's going to work. So, exploration takes a huge amount of different gameplay. So this can be science stuff, this can be finding points of interest, this can be finding asteroid fields, this can be surveying, this can be sort of selling information on things, this can be scanning anomalies, this can be finding jump points, navigating jump points, sort of mapping out new sort of planets and areas of space and loads and loads and loads and loads and loads of things. The sort of more pathfinding stuff is more focused on finding wormholes and jump points and that sort of stuff, because there might be temporary ones that appear. There might be ones that are very short range that just move you between the same system. There could be ones that connect to a temporary system or a whole new system that we haven't seen yet. There's a lot of stuff like that could be going on. You have to be the hardest working Star Citizen content provider. Probably Tomatoes second. I don't know how you do it. I mean, it's relatively. So I enjoy what I do. I'm pretty bipolar, and I enjoy being focused on work. So the more I do it, the more stable and sort of happy I am. And so I really enjoy getting videos out every day. I like working every day. I like having sort of being focused on hobbies when I'm not working. So it's healthy for me, and it makes me money, which is good. Means I can sort of have a full-time editor as well with Zin, and Zin is going to evolve into being more of a channel aid. So we're going to be playing a lot more together, hopefully from tomorrow onwards. Maybe not tomorrow onwards, because we need to get a load out on the first day of March, but we're basically looking at, once 3.18 launches, us doing a huge amount more gameplay. Thank you very much, Robert. I appreciate the money. The donation is genuinely hype. Thank you, sir. Outside a torpedo boat, what other roles do you think a Polaris can fulfill? So it's a generally great mission runner. It's pretty good at lots of the little things. It can do a lot of Star Citizen gameplay because it's got that hangar. Because it's a reasonably big ship. It can house a crew. It's good in combat. So yeah, it's going to be great at doing a little bit of exploration and a little bit of everything. All right, as well as being particularly competent in battles and great where you want a torpedo ship. Will the arcade machines ever be playable? I believe so. I believe that is what they're going for. I mean, we've seen Hyper Vanguard Force, which is literally a playable arcade game. We know that they've got arcade machines in-game, and I don't think it's particularly hard for them to get them working. But they would have to, devote a little bit of resource time to it. Make interactables more interactable. With the new mining gameplay, do you think we might see a single-seater Argo miner? It is possible, but I suspect they'd want to do it so it's slightly different from the Prospector. It would have to have its own sort of unique, like it's got a mini refinery on board or something like that. But it's more for a particular type of mining. The roadmap currently only shows 3 deliverables for Squadron 42 that end after July. The Polaris vehicle support and bug fixing and debt. Do you think this indicates they're getting closer to release? Well, they're getting closer to release. I don't think we're going to see anything release-wise until next year at the earliest. Also, it potentially means that they just haven't updated the roadmap with the downstream teams for Squadron, or that their Squadron scheduling is still ongoing. Other content, how and or when can we expect more in ship respawning for those of us looking forward to living in our ships? Oh, so you want to actually be able to respawn in your ship? So there's 2 things I want. Yes, respawning in ship, great. Obviously, you can do that in medical ships now. So ships with a tier 2 medical bed, the Carrack and 890 jump, you can spawn in when you die. You don't, and if you log off, as long as you're not too close to a point of interest, you log off in bed or whatever, you do often log straight back into where your ship was. So there is that now. I'm expecting that we'll be able to spawn, when we spawn our ships, we'll actually be able to have vehicles spawn in there as well very soon. I know we keep on saying that, but Clan Imperium should be able to get that in a lot more easy now with persistent entity streaming and that sort of jazz. We just need to have a UI for it. And then having our ships as home, well, I mean, just as persistent entity streaming, a lot of that we can sort of do now, but the game's a bit erratic, right? You missed I used to use the Hyper Vanguard Forces intro. Yeah. Speaking of the Polaris, are you aware of any talk or a detection range for the capital radar? No. Not the specifics of stuff like that. I don't think Cloud Imperium know exactly how that stuff will work yet. Do you think there should maybe be more all-round ships in the lower to mid-range? Yes. I'd like to see some... hopefully they'll start talking about modularity and there'll be some small to medium-sized ships which are a little bit more focused on jack of all trades, maybe a bit modularity. Is there a guide to the most amazing places to go in Star Citizen? There occasionally are creators that do sort of travel guides and things. I've done a couple previously, many moons ago. There's probably some out there. We'll do a points of interest guide for Star Citizen, sort of tick these off your 3.18 list at some point. That's a good idea. When we get our own hubs and hangars, what are the chances of having crafting facilities? So, crafting facilities, eventually, almost certainly. Cloud Imperium have been talking about increasing what we're going to be able to craft beyond what we've got with 3.18 and salvage crafting. So expect crafting in game, expect the ability to do it on various scales based on the facilities that you have, from workbench to fabrication at sort of dispensaries to potentially base scale. I'd love to be able to make your own FPS gear and armor and munitions and potentially even components and maybe even ships. We don't know to what scale we're going to have crafting yet, unfortunately. There is no new news on the Banding Merchantman yet, unfortunately. FedEx are a known garment of spies. Is BoredGamer the next 007? No, you have to, I think, to get 00, you have to kill 2 people, whereas I've only killed 1. No, that's a joke. That's a joke. I obviously do have the 00. I do have the 00 rating, clearly, because I'm wearing the turtleneck. Question, isn't there a new light fighter coming? Any speculation on the manufacturer? We might see a new light fighter. We might see lots of stuff. So with Fleet Week, you can expect some new ships and vehicles. Yes. So we got master modes in 3.19. So it's possible that they might add some steps towards some of the new master modes. We could see the master modes don't all have to all come at once. So like obviously there's different master modes for different things. Like there's a missile mode, there's the standstill piloting mode, there's one for mining, there's one for salvage. Do you think the game will have a monthly sub like WoW? It's possible that they have, because at the moment they have voluntary subs. I think that might be potentially more incentivized to voluntary sub. The game is supposed to be buy to play. Buy it once, that's all you need. They are going to be selling the in-game currency. There's a variety of other monetization options that they're going to go into. But I expect it to be a little bit like Eve's. But the voluntary subscription shouldn't give you any mechanical game bonus, I don't think. But we'll have to wait and see. I don't think that's the plan. They're unlikely to give any mechanical bonuses. It will be stuff like armor and skins and things like that. Some flat items every month that people will be like, "Oh, cool." What else have we got? Question. When do you think they will have the next recruiting drive with free giveaways for both parties? So it's likely that they'll do a free fly and some sort of recruiting drive for 3.18's launch and for Fleet Week and 3.19. I am certainly the most persistent of the Star Citizen newscasters / reporters. That's because that's what I want to do with my channel. I want to focus on Star Citizen, focus on the news, and obviously we want to do other bits and bobs as well as Star Citizen evolves. And as I said, in March we want to be playing the game more. We'll be having some gaming stuff. We're going to be having covering the news still. We'll be looking at features and doing deep dives. I also want to try and get to more Bar Citizens this year. I'm just on the very, very, very tail end of cold. Is one of the reasons my voice is a little bit destroyed and I'm a little bit monotone. A lot of people have the 400i. Do you have any idea when the 400i will be back? It will turn up again when, well, obviously you see it at the Intergalactic Aerospace Expo at the end of the year. Anytime there's an appropriate Origins show, it'll be on sale again at some point. I just don't know exactly when. Why is that looking used by a question? Is the Constellation Andromeda Merlin bug fixed? I don't know if it's fixed in the latest patch. No, it is still not fixed. Prompt is unusable. No, it is not currently fixed, as far as I'm aware. What is the likelihood that you think we'll see the Cavalry coming out? You saw about talking about the Glaive and the Scythe updates? Oh, so it at some point they're obviously going to update Vandal Swarm with the updated Scythe and Glaive. I don't know when. It'd be great if it's for 3.19 or part of that. Marina Commander update. That'd be awesome, because that would make a lot of people play through Vandal Swarm. How will the Hull C sell its cargo? Fully laden docking collar. Goes in, it would dock with the station docking collar, and then sell effectively to a cargo deck. Sort of eventually what it will do, and then back to beams will pull it off from the station into the sort of cargo area, or smaller ships will put it off into the cargo area. That's the sort of rough idea. Those docking collars on space stations, there was some bugs with them in 3.18 PTU, but when do you think there'll be a better way to view training prices in the game instead of going to websites? So they'll have it in game eventually as part of the Mobiglass apps and that sort of jazz. They'll want players to not go to third-party sites where possible, so they'll want all that stuff available in game. Don't know when though. I mean, they're doing a bit of an economy overhaul in 3.19. They're obviously adding iron to the game. They're making sort of certain materials available in certain areas more than others. So you go, Microtech will have loads of aluminium. ArcCorp might have loads of copper. You have to go there if you want those materials, and you can go somewhere else that doesn't have them and sell them there for profit. But there's loads and loads of updates to mining in 3.19, so you can expect the economy to quite a big, be drastically affected. But they're also tweaking some of this stuff so it's ready for the dynamic economy system and the dynamic universe stuff. You know, if personal hangars will have the ability to get a small vehicle comfortable in your bigger ships. So hopefully they're going to have, at the same time or soonish, the ability to spawn ships in vehicles in ship. I think Cloud Imperium just need to get UI for that now, but the Anvil Crucible is also named the Flying Toolbox. Could it be that there's a crafting machine on board? There might be some level of fabrication and crafting you can do on board. Maybe for like munitions, so repair materials, ammo, stuff like that, because you want to rearm, repair, and refuel your ship, right? Or lands inside it. Or... Do you think players will be given extra money again after 3.18 wipe? It's a possibility. They might go players that were active, or based on your activity, or based on if you got involved with an event or whatever, that you might get some more money. We do know that players that are super active in 3.18 PTU testing and on the issue council and stuff, some of those people will be getting some free ships and stuff like that. There's no specific date for 3.18 live, but I'm expecting it within the next 2 weeks. No news about the Perseus? No. I'm curious, do you have a personal favourite ship? Mercury Starrunner. By a huge margin. Like, I love the way it looks. I love its button setup, sort of all its lights and doors and everything. I love the fact it's got little vents and little smuggling points and little secret areas and a functional chessboard. In the future, it's going to have data running. It's a great sort of mission running ship. It can carry a vehicle. Got a load of sort of guns. It can do a load of stuff in Star Citizen now. It's fun. It's cool. And especially with boarding and sort of soft destruction and stuff in 3.18, it becomes a ship you don't want to board an assault because of all the little vents and little hidey holes in it. So it's quite fun. Bear with me 1 second. I'm just going to use the facilities real quick. Ah! Oh, no. Hello. I'm looking forward to lunch. I don't know what I'm going to have yet, but it's going to be good because I'm hungry. What else do we have? What's going on in here? Something about clickbait web magazines. People get confused online all the time. I get stuff wrong occasionally still. I mean, and I have hot takes on things which will not necessarily be the the mainstream opinion. Research stuff yourself a bit. Do a bit of searching and be reasonable. People enjoying Dark Tide. I heard that Dark Tide just wasn't as good as Vermintide, and obviously I know it's 40k rather than Warhammer, but sort of looked a bit too samey. Or was it quite enjoyable? How likely do you think it is that we'll get an ICU module for the Retaliator? ICU? Define ICU. Dark Tide's awesome. Okay, I'll give it a go. It's on Games Pass. I played it during its beta. I was like, yeah, that's fun. Just run around as an ogre and smash things. Have loads of fun. Okay, cool. And what terms will be different between the Kraken and the Kraken Privateer? So the Kraken Privateer takes away the Dragonfly Bay and some of the cargo space, and instead adds shops. So it goes, bam, I'm a mobile space station rather than a sort of more service. So the Kraken is sort of more focused on carrying ships and cargo, and the Dragonflies sort of more combat-y, whereas the Privateer is more space station-y, getting closer towards the Batting Merchant. Yeah? Microstore Runner needs to be able to have the option to store in secret compartment. Yes, eventually, and eventually it will. I mean, you can sort of move it over there now, right? In 3.19 anyway. Do you think they will eventually release a full-length novel in lore instead of just short stories? Yes, I think it'll be a mixture of the two. I think they'll also absorb a load of community content. Why are there so few planets during the entire development and only one system? Just because that's the way it is. So let me explain more. So they're not building out gameplay area on a shallow scale. So they're trying to build the tools to build planets, and they're trying to fill the star system full of content. And the more Stanton is the system that we're in is a great sort of cross section for that, so that they can go bam. We've got a load of different architecture, different styles, and a load of variants that we can then use to build loads of different star systems with. So at the moment, they're also working on Pyro, Nyx, and Odin systems, at least those. Pyro is going to be coming into the game very soon. So very soon. Within a year-ish, maybe? We hope. But yes, it's more of them building the tools and stuff, and they can quite rapidly expand out. But they're more focused on getting the core mechanics and populating those zones with loads of modular outposts and modular underground facilities and types of city and stuff, because then they can just expand that out at quite a large scale. Intensive care unit, so medical stuff. Okay, I think that's certainly a possibility. I'm expecting to see some medical modules for modularity on ships. And it's not going to be every ship that gets them that's modular. We don't know when 3.18 is going to drop. I'm hoping it will be live within the next couple of weeks. I think Zin also believes that, so... and she's smart. Thoughts when we'll see some news on the Odyssey, probably towards the end of this year. We'll see some news on it, but I don't think we're going to see much movement with it. Will there be faction that players can join to create an ongoing conflict, PvP over territory? Almost certainly. Like in Pyro, there are factions there. There's going to be lots of stuff like that. Will docking be fixed in 3.18 live? I hope so. Will the Hull C be able to land or only dock? When it's laden with cargo, when the spindles are open, it will have to dock with a docking collar, right? It can only land once it's contracted. Can we expect to talk to NPC crew to follow or stay behind? There is going to be a buddy system that should allow you to do that to some degree. Obviously, we haven't seen that properly in game yet, especially from what we're going to be getting out of our own crews when we sort of hire them. So, in Zin we trust, indeed. Yeah, the game has great prospects. It is a massively huge scoped and scaled game with what appears to be lots of feature creep and bloat. However, because of the amount of money, time, and devs, and all that sort of stuff that Star Citizen has, it becomes a sort of case of, well, not if, but when will they actually get everything done? And they are pushing towards it. They are working towards getting everything done and having a game of, hopefully, everyone's dreams. Obviously, a load of the mechanics are going to be very different in people's heads. Not everyone can have the mechanics in the way that they want either. So bear that in mind. The way I see exploration or science might be very different the way you see it. Not both of us can't be totally right. Right, King, thank you very much for the donation. Genuinely appreciated with a little jumping joypad boy. Thank you. Genuinely thank you. Donations really help the channel, especially sort of January, February. as I said, Zin and I are going to be chilling out a bit more during those months. Will we be able to queue jump to our own ship? So I would expect so. I expect that we'd be able to have markers for our own ships, and they have to quantum jump there. I mean, one of the things that we'll be able to do eventually is quantum boost sort of anywhere we want to an extent. And yeah, I expect that star map updates and other updates will allow us to set waypoints. I want to fling poo at my enemies. Well, you can do that. You can do that in life as well. Why not? I don't think we're actually going to be able to pick up anta dung. You'll be able to throw ranta dung and animal dung. I don't think you'll be able to throw human feces at people. But you talk to the devs. You have you have everyone's voice is important. Not everyone's. Most people's. If a body logs out in a bed in my ship and I crash it while they're logged out, will they wake up in a hospital and lose their gear? So currently, what will happen is they'll just spawn in the last planet they visited, or their original hab, with no bad side effects. In the future, that'll be a different story, but we don't know exactly how all this stuff's going to work. HLT Toxic, thank you very much for the sub. Genuinely appreciate it, sir. Thank you for the daily content and the giveaways you do. Much appreciated. And I can never keep track of the game's progress, so your videos help me stay in the loop. That's exactly what I want the channel to be for. I want to have people that are interested in Star Citizen, that want to listen to some of the Star Citizen news each day, want to listen to me, just chat about stuff. Great, you can tune in whenever you want and hear more about Star Citizen updates. I do go over some of the same news again and again because it's sort of in the news, so sort of bear that in mind. But I hope people enjoy my channel for, I would say, a one-stop shop with Star Citizen stuff. But I do want there to people to experience other content creators because there's some fantastic ones out there as well. And they have different views to mine as well, so that can be quite helpful. Maybe there will be a toilet paper shortage in the verse and you can make a load of money from transporting toilet paper. Is it reasonable to assume that once server meshing is in, they could possibly then quickly open up multiple star systems? So, yeah, I mean, there is going to come to a point where they start to expand gameplay area much more rapidly. Server meshing, static server meshing, and then dynamic server meshing. Obviously, they're going to want to dial in. But once they have Pyro in, I do think that potentially opens the floodgates for getting more and more star systems in. Just dropping it here, but you board are actually why I started backing in 2016, even though I was skeptic, and I am no longer, by the way. So yeah, okay. So there are genuine criticisms people can make of Star Citizen and should make, if they want to make them. It's hugely delayed. It's taking ages. It's so much of a different beast than what was originally wanted and expected. And I think a lot of people want the scaled up product a lot more now. More people are obviously coming and they're making more and more money each year on year. And they obviously have something that's playable and they keep on expanding on that playable gameplay. And the project itself is just fantastic as a hobby. It is development as a hobby, as a service. It's expanding out to that sort of level where it's like, oh, Star Citizen is my hobby. This sort of the project. And I'm really enjoying it, warts and all. I just love the amount of news they put out and everything. But it is taking a long time. Yeah. I think that's fair, right? It's people. What else? Do we have anything else? It is getting to the time. I start to peel off. I'm hungry because I want to eat lunch pretty soon, and then we'll be releasing a This Week in Star Citizen video. Chris Roberts, forever moving the goalposts. was cute at first, but not anymore. So, I mean, there are delays for stuff. There are constant sort of rescoping and working onto lots of different things, which they then try and work out where they're putting it in the persistent universe. A lot of work is going into Squadron 42 more than anything else, and I do think that's made genuinely a lot of progress, and is the lion's share of development is on that. And within the next couple of years, hopefully we'll have that, and that will prove that they can actually make a genuinely great game. And then a lot of that Squadron 42 stuff, I mean, stuff even though they're working on now, we should be getting it in not too distant future, sort of dripped into the game. So sort of bear that in mind. It is a long development. The goalposts. So the goalposts are there. They just redefine when the next goalposts are when they're getting close to them. And sometimes they go, "Oh, we haven't hit that goal. It's going to be a while longer for that, but we are getting this instead." Because at the moment, for example, they're now talking about having server meshing light, or potentially not having server meshing in 4.0, because they want to decouple Pyro from the replication layer and get it into our hands as soon as possible. So is that moving the goalposts? Well, no, that's them trying to go, we want to get this in before server meshing, because it's taking a while longer to get server meshing in. And you can certainly discuss that and be critical of that. But yeah, the main thing is the delays, it's the time taken, it's the scope increase, but they are constantly adding more and more and more. They are working on more and more and more. They are producing more and more content. There's a lot of stuff that's going on behind the scenes on a huge amount of features, which we will see eventually. So it's not as if that because stuff's getting delayed, that it's like they're not working on anything. They're working on loads of stuff, which will eventually be in our hands. Yeah. But thank you. I do appreciate all the kind words. I appreciate all the criticism as well, to be honest. I'm pretty chill. It's all content for me. They do need to hire more people and capable people. I totally agree. But that's what they're trying to do with their new studios. They want to increase their sort of, I think it's like by another 500 devs in the UK alone. I think that's what they want with their new studio, which is a lot. But I love Star Citizen. As I said, warts and all. I think it's genuinely fun. They will not do invisible cloaking. They'll do ships that are more stealthy, and that if you manage their systems properly, they are very hard to detect, but you won't be able to just go and be invisible. And they've said they don't want that. Can you dock a constellation to a space station? At the moment, they land. Eventually, you might be able to choose whether you... it's larger ships, basically, to get the docking collar. What do you think exploration and science gameplay will be like? So we talked about this a little bit earlier, but so science stuff will be scanning down anomalies, it'll be going gathering stuff, it'll be crunching data on things, there might be lots of missions associated with that, it might be finding some bits and bobs. There's a lot of stuff they can do that's mission-based. Exploration, it's more going to be sort of scanning down points of interest, finding stuff, surveying the jump points and all that sort of stuff, navigating them, finding them. There's a huge amount of stuff that obviously exploration and science sort of touches on each other and very closely related. Cloaking equal decent, yeah. I mean, there's a lot of people that say that there's a cloaking going on in the game right now. And behind the current economic changes coming this year, have they mentioned anything recently? So there's stuff for 3.19, and the economy is going to be changing quite a lot for mining. There's lots and lots and lots of mining changes. We haven't seen specific economy changes talked about. I suspect we'll see more of that in patch watches when we get closer to 3.19. You can expect some bits and changes for 3.18 as well. Right. I used to play Eve, yes. I quite enjoy Eve Online, or used to. I do think that Cloud Imperium can learn a lot from Eve with a lot of its mechanics. Val Janice, thank you very much. Oh, that's very, very kind of you subscribing. Thank you very much, sir. Genuinely appreciated. I don't own Star Citizen, but I've enjoyed your YouTube for over a year. Thank you for the great content. I hope to jump in Fleet Week. Thank you very much. I can't say it. Chronoterra. Thank you very much for the bits. That's genuinely appreciated. Thank you, thank you. Oh yeah, I genuinely appreciate that. Thank you very, very much, peoples. So I am going to start to sign off there because I want to get a video out and I want to eat. So we're getting a news video out today. Tomorrow we'll be getting a channel and March update for Star Citizen out. I got the new giveaway, so make sure you get involved with this month's giveaway if you want to get involved with it. Just comment on any of my videos for a chance to win that. What else? I think we're giving away a Spirit C1, I think, at the moment. So in the short term, that'll be a Cutlass Black you'll get. But Spirit C1, very excited for. I think we're giving away... We're either giving away a Scorpius Antares or a Raft next month. Probably a Scorpius Antares because it's new, right? What we probably do. That sounds right. But I can heavily recommend Sons of the Forest to people. It's not finished, but it has an ending. But you'll be confused at the ending because you'll be like, what? How did this all connect together? Because it's sort of not finished. But it's very pretty. It's made in Unity. Surprisingly good for Unity. I thought it was sort of like a overdeveloped Unreal 4 when I was playing it. Yeah, very pretty. Running around the foliage and the green and the trees is absolutely fantastic. I hope Star Citizen looks at the foliage and the green and the trees and goes, wow, look how dense this is, and it works. Obviously, and it works at multiplayer. It might not work at the right sort of thousands of players scale, but we'll have to wait and see, I suppose. Really looking forward to 3.19. Should hopefully be live in the next couple of weeks. Clan Imperial Mars starting to talk a load about 3.19. And we're going to see some underground facility stuff like this later this week in the white box phase. It's apparently seen a lot of development. But yes. Thank you very much for watching. Very much appreciated. I'm going to find someone else for you to watch. So bear with me. I'll encourage you to go over to their stream. Who is actually online at the moment? There's a guy called Piss Poor Pete who is apparently just a dog. I might just send you over to him. I haven't really vetted him. I'm going to send you over to Piss Poor Pete. Noobs in Space. I hope this is not a mistake, but we'll soon see. So let's go here. We'll soon find out. That's right. Gonna be fine. Gonna be fine. We don't need to vet anyone. Okay. Perfect. And let me link you a channel. I'm sure it'll be fun. Thank you so much for watching. Genuinely appreciated. We'll be getting a video out in the next half an hour or so. Thanks for all the comments and the questions and the support and the just being here. It genuinely helps. And hope you watch a load of my videos over the coming months. Love you guys. You take care.